Talking with the experts.
In episode 523, Natasa Stojanovic discusses with us her personal story of how she followed the call of her heart to the ocean and the whales.
So there's two things. One is, as a business owner, if you feel that call to live on purpose, to live your calling, your true calling, you will get to a point where, it's kind of strange maybe for others. You're changing your life. You're changing your whole expression. I gave you that example before in our pre-chat. So when somebody would print t-shirts, for instance, you're selling t-shirts and now you feel that calling to support the environment, and you print t-shirts with beautiful, beautiful quotes about the environment and saving our planet or whatever. Then you'll need to align that, because you'll feel like something is not aligned here if you're using toxic dye, or if you have child labor, if it's coming from a country where you don't even know how it's produced, or the cotton that you're using is highly toxic. And so you'll have to align all of that. And there are big, big changes on the way, and you'll have a lot of resistance from the people around you.
Talking with the experts.
Welcome to Talking with the Experts, where we believe that success is a journey, and every journey is easier with help from friends. That's why we bring you top-notch experts and real business heroes eager to share their lessons from the road to success. We delve into new topics each week: effective marketing strategies, innovative problem-solving, financial planning, and team building. We tackle everything you need to know to grow your business and keep it thriving. Whether you dream about launching your first startup or a business veteran looking to shake things up, we've got you covered. With each episode, you'll gain knowledge, boost your confidence, and be inspired to take action. So, grab a coffee, make yourself comfortable, and join our exciting journey. You're not alone in this. We're here, guiding you, cheering for you, and celebrating each milestone. Let's turn your business dreams into reality, starting today. Here is your host, Rose Davidson.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. I'm your host, Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com. Talking with the Experts is all about business by business owners for business owners. You can find it on all podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. Today it's my very special privilege to introduce you to Natasa Stojanovic, and she's going to be discussing with us all things spiritual, so having the courage to follow our true calling. Now, Natasa is a whale retreat leader. She's a frequency healer. She's a speaker. She's a mother and mentor with over 20 years experience in leadership, team, personal and spiritual development. She is trained in various modalities of energy psychology, energy healing, NLP, coaching and experiential learning. She's deeply connected to her ancient heritage and is masterful at transmitting pure frequencies through channeling ocean light language and whale and dolphin energy. And I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about that. Natasa, welcome to Talking with the Experts. It's such a privilege to have you.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Tell me a little bit about your background. You were a leadership and team development coach before you became a spiritual mentor. So how did one transition to the next?
Yes, it's truly an interesting story. So I've been as you say, leadership and team development coach in the corporate world. I've been self-employed. I have had a great life. And there was a series of events. First, it started that I just truly felt this calling that I knew from before. I was very connected to ocean, to whales, to dolphins, and supporting people and healing, and how does the world work, and what's spirituality, and all these things. And in my work, I was happy, and at the same time, there was this emptiness. There was something missing. And I had pushed that aside because I had a good life, everything was working, I was in my comfort zone. And so a series of events happened where I had to move out from the beautiful apartment, 5 rooms overlooking the lake, the relationship broke apart, and so on and so forth. And suddenly through these events, I found myself pregnant And the moment I found out I was pregnant, I knew I would be single mother from day one pregnancy. So my whole life had shattered within a few months. Everything fell apart. And through that time of getting back on my feet and all of that, I almost landed in burnout. And I have been a stress reduction and burnout coach as well. So luckily I knew what I needed to do to get myself back on my feet. And I knew to read the signs. And so I remember that one night where I was led to the computer and I turned on YouTube and I just bumped into that TEDx talk of a woman called Lisa Rankin. She's a doctor. And she was talking about how, people, she was sure that lifestyle was what would make people happy. So healthy nutrition, movement, meditation, all of that, which we know. But then she said she moved her practice to a place where people had the healthiest lifestyles. And they had their personal trainers, that they went to yoga and they were meditating and eating healthy, but they were just as sick as anybody else. And then she said, and she asked the people, if you were your own doctor, what would you prescribe yourself? And then the answers came in such as, oh, I would finally divorce my husband. Or, oh, I would finally go and travel the world, which is what I wanted to do for a long time. Or I would take that course, but I'm always afraid that I'll be laughed at if I do it. And so she said, we all have an inner pilot light. And if we don't follow that pilot light, we get sick. And I'm paraphrasing her now, it's not word by word. And so I remember tears running down my face in that moment, because that was the moment where everything changed for me, where I realized, oh my God, I had that calling deep in my heart, but I didn't follow it. I had the inner pilot light telling me for years that this is my direction, that there is another direction, that there's more fulfillment, that there's more purpose, but I didn't follow that. And that was the day when I decided to start changing and to start following my heart again, which is something I used to do before I came into that whole comfort zone of making good money and everything worked and I didn't have to think much. And so that is when the turnaround happened. And following that, I really worked on, really following my intuition, opening my heart. And then from there on, I had a series of what we call awakening experiences, where I started speaking light language, which we can go into later, which is a transmission of frequency, which helps heal, helps activate, helps you expand, helps you connect to who you truly are and why you're here. What's your purpose? Because you see, we all have a distinct energy blueprint that we come in as souls. And that is something that we wish to express in this life. And as long as we follow that, they can be just as challenging, but things start falling into place. We know we're on the right path. We feel fulfilled. It's not just we have the money, we have everything we need, but it's an emptiness inside. We feel fulfilled. And so that's what I did. And that's how I ended up taking people on whale retreats. And where I started channeling these light language from the ocean and from the whales and transmitting information, and also using all my knowledge that I had from before as being a coach, bringing it down to earth, into our daily lives, and also the healing, because I'm a trauma-informed healer as well. So I'm bringing everything together now. Yeah, that's how it happened.
It's a pretty great journey from one thing to another, and all of that sort of, I guess you could call it trauma in the middle to get to where you are now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I guess what you've got, Natasa, is a really interesting concept, modality. How does that relate to business owners, and how can it help business owners find their purpose?
Oh yes. So there's two things. One is, as a business owner, if you feel that call to live on purpose, to live your calling, your true calling, you will get to a point where, it's kind of strange maybe for others. You're changing your life. You're changing your whole expression. And so, like, give you an example. For instance, somebody who would be, I gave you that example before in our pre-chat. So when somebody would print t-shirts, for instance, you're selling t-shirts and now you feel that calling to support the environment, and you print t-shirts with beautiful, beautiful quotes about the environment and saving our planet or whatever. Then you'll need to align that, because you'll feel like something is not aligned here if you're using toxic dye, or if you have child labor, if it's coming from a country where you don't even know how it's produced, or the cotton that you're using is highly toxic. And so you'll have to align all of that. And there are big, big changes on the way, and you'll have a lot of resistance from the people around you. Same that if you might be awakening, like I did, to some spiritual gifts that you have, and we all have them. We all have them. And so maybe you're starting to see beyond the veils, things that are maybe not, you can't see by the eyes, but you're in an environment of business owners and leaders and corporate world where people are shy to talk about it. But there will be a point where you have to own your truth if you want to follow that calling. And that's what happened with me. Imagine being a leadership and team development coach and transitioning into channeling ocean light language that nobody even knows what it is. So I had to own that truth. And that is the process where I can support people, because I know both worlds. I know the business world, I know the spiritual world. And I help you really, embody your truth and find the way that is most gentle and true to yourself. So it's about your true authenticity, living your energy blueprint, meaning your calling, your highest expression, why you're here on this planet, and taking leadership in that. And in that, all of that, we are redefining values. We're redefining the success. What is success for you? Does that make sense? Like, success is a very important part of it. So if success was, let's say it was always, like performance excellence for leaders, that's the buzzword in leadership. But hey, if I'm living my purpose, it's not performance excellence. It's not about being better than anyone else. It's how can I contribute most to the whole, to all of humanity, to the greater whole, to planet, to the web of life, right? So I need to redefine what is success now for me. Is it really the money only? Money is part of it, otherwise our business dies. But what is really for me success? When am I successful? If I reach what with my business, right? So that's the process that we're going through then as well. And also it does help, because the way that I channel these frequencies, it helps people really remember why they're here. Like really get clear about what is their purpose. And that's not a mind thing. That's not something that we can figure out with our minds. It's something that comes through intuition. And we access intuition through our heart. Because our heart is where we really connect with that energy blueprint. And it always has to do with something that is great for you living your passion, and which serves the greater whole. And if I say, the world and humanity, it doesn't mean that everything you do needs to serve everybody, but it needs to be in alignment. It can't be harming someone else, so that what you do is successful. And
it's always important that we express ourselves as humans, but as business leaders or business owners or whatever, and express ourselves and be authentic about who we are. And so what I'm understanding from what you're saying is that through the mentorship that you do, that people can express themselves and become truly authentic.
Yes. And part of it is, like the healing of all the conditioning of our, 95% of our thoughts are subconscious. So in general, they rule our lives. So part of it is becoming conscious of what is in our subconscious, and then being able to change that in a way that supports us instead of limits us. So we're releasing limitation, we're healing old wounds and so on. But that is not a difficult, it always sounds so heavy. But the way I work with these frequencies, it is so light, because I need to explain for that. Everything is vibration. We know that today. Everything is frequency, everything is vibration. And what we see as material world is actually, if you go into the quantum level, just frequency. And so what happens is that we have a DNA, and our DNA has a part which science has studied very much, which is about, I think, 10%. And the rest of our DNA is called by science the dormant DNA. And that dormant DNA holds so much potential. And they used to call it junk DNA because they didn't know what it was for. Now they're calling it dormant DNA because they're starting to realize, oh, okay, there is something in here, but we can't access that potential yet. And so the water in your cells, I'm getting into the DNA, right? So the DNA is held by the water in your cells. Now, what we know about the water in your cells is the water in your cells is highly coherent. The more coherent your water is, the more healthy and well are you. So coherent means there's a fourth phase of water that we didn't learn at school. So the first phase, like, you know, ice, water, and when it evaporates, okay? But the fourth phase is highly coherent water, and it's water that takes a crystalline structure. And some of you might be aware of the work of Masaru Emoto. He put, for instance, he would put the intention to water, and water would form crystals. And if he had like hate or something like that, they were just terrible patterns in the water when he froze the drops, and then put them under a microscope. But if you put like love or forgiveness, they form beautiful, beautiful crystals. So water holds information. And now, getting back to your cells, the water in your cells is highly coherent, means it creates this crystalline, beautiful structure. And in that structure, scientists know today that water can not only hold information, it can also transmit information. And so talking about frequency changes that water. That's what whales do, what dolphins do, or what I do when I channel these sounds through my voice. The water in your cells starts to vibrate differently, holding that different information, which can help your DNA express in new ways. So it can support in health, but it can also support in remembering, oh, actually, this is what I came here for. You start feeling that frequency, you start feeling that energy of where it's pulling you. And in the days, weeks, months to come, whenever is the right timing for your body to integrate that, you will start realizing, oh, actually, this is what I want to do. Oh, this is where my heart is calling me. That's how I want to express my purpose. And it's an ongoing journey always. It's not like you find that one purpose and then you do it. It's always evolving, just like all of us. But the frequencies can help you remember through activating parts of your DNA. And when we are with the whales, because you asked me about the whale retreat, when we are with the whales in the water, what happens is these whales, I do swims with humpback whales. And so humpback whales, they have these beautiful songs. And whether we hear them or not, they're emitting frequencies. And these frequencies are so powerful because what the whale transmits in the water is being transmitted at faster than speed of light. Not the sound travels the way the sound travels, but water can transmit information quicker than the speed of light. And so when we're in that water, in the ocean with a whale, that frequency, we feel it in all of our body. It's not just like when we listen with our ears, that's when it goes into our nervous system, we can calm. That's like sound healing, right? It calms your nervous system. But when you're in the water with the whales, that frequency gets transmitted through the whole body of water around you, and all cells in your body start vibrating with that same frequency. And that creates a lot of healing. So I've seen people come out of the water, like they go in full of fear. Oh, the ocean, I've never been in this big ocean. And okay, they do it anyway. And they come out and they start crying, go like, it hit my heart. It just opened my heart. Or people, I remember one person who said looking into a whale's eye is like looking into your heart. Like the whale looked straight in my heart. It's very, very deep experiences that people have that we can't always say in words. Other people have experiencing healing. I myself have experienced healing through being with the whales in the water, and it was healing deep grief that was in my body, my system, from when I was 12 and my father died, right? So there is a lot of potential for healing and for remembering our purpose and our gifts through exposing ourselves to frequencies that support our whole being and support the water in our cells and the DNA to start expressing in different ways, you know. And the DNA can express in different ways. We know that from epigenetics, right? So what's around us, our environment, actually, I mean, there's a lot of theory to cover that, but we know today from epigenetics that our genes express differently. They can turn on and turn off depending on the environment. And that doesn't mean only the people you surround yourself with or what you eat and drink, but it's the frequency. So your thoughts, your emotions, and the thoughts and emotions that you connect to that are around you.
Yeah, I know that for a fact that frequency is everywhere, and what you project is what you get back. So if you're projecting bad things or sad things, that's all you'll get back. So it's really important to project happiness and gratefulness and love and all of those really, you know, endorphin filled feelings that so the vibration around you is elevated.
Yeah. And you're feeling the field, you know, like it's all a field of consciousness that we're all co-creating collectively, right? So the more we can, each and every one can stay centered, and it's also part of my work, because many people right now feel very stressed about what's going on in the world, right? And so the more that we learn the techniques to, it's not only the frequency, it's also techniques to how can we center, how can we be in heart-brain coherence, and be in a state where we can emit and really feel gratitude and love no matter what's happening around us, the more not only we can, you know, we support other gene expression, we're healthier, we're more focused, but also we influence other people. There's I don't know if you're familiar with heart coherence, but there's like research that shows the more that we have these genuine feelings of forgiveness, love, care, compassion, and gratitude in our heart, the more we influence the people around us, and we are influenced by the earth and the earth influences us. So it's there's a lot of science out there. So, and I love, you know, as you see, I love connecting spirituality with what we're finding in science, because for many, and I've been in the corporate world, I know how it works, I've been myself there. There's so much doubt in our minds, and our minds keep us from really feeling that, because we go like, oh, how's this possible? But when you have the science that backs it up, we go like, oh, that's how it works. Now I can open up to trying, right?
Yeah, it calms the skeptics.
Yeah, it calms the mind, the chatter, that conditioning of, oh, no, it needs to be rational, right? But if you think about, if you're 90 years old and you look back on your life, are you going to judge yourself because it was rational or because you lived love?
It's it. Absolutely.
I totally want to live love.
Yeah.
And you're not going to judge yourself, but are you going to, sorry.
People around me are so rational, and so if it can't be explained, they don't believe in it. But you know, it's really good that what you do is actually backed by scientific proof. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I like that. And in the end, it's the experience. That's why experiential learning, that was a big part of what I did also in leadership trainings. It's when you experience that amount of love that is there, when you can connect your true self, that you can feel when you're with the whales in the water, that you can feel when you connect to the frequencies that are in your highest good. I mean, that amount of love, and people experience that vibration, it's something that you can't undo. We can talk, you know, but when we experience something, it's so deep that you know it's your truth. And when you come to that point where it's your truth, you start opening up to the next expression of next level of expression that you're here to express, because it's just so clear. You don't need to think about it anymore. You've experienced it.
Yeah, it's very fascinating, and it's well worth exploring if you want to find out a little bit more about how this can all affect you and make you into finding your purpose.
Exactly. And we need people, we need that in the world.
We do. I agree.
Right.
I agree with what's going on at the moment. Yeah, we need all those lovely things that make everybody feel better. And the more we can vibrate positivity and love, the more it will spread around the world, and hopefully these bad things won't happen so much.
And there's much hope, and if you realize that you are contributing to the kind of shift that you wish to experience in the world, it's a whole different life than when you're watching it and going like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Right? So we have a lot of power to contribute. And the more of us truly tune in and hold that space and also live our purpose, the more we can contribute to the shift that we wish to experience. And we're in our power. And my work is about empowerment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. Absolutely love it. Natasa, where can people find you if they want to learn more, or they want to book one of these beautiful Swimming with the Whales retreats?
Yes. So you can go to nathealing.net. That is nathealing.net, nathealing.net. And you will find everything about me and my work, and you will find the whale retreat there. And then you can click on that page, and it's really easy to find.
Wonderful. You can also find Natasa on YouTube and Instagram and on Facebook. And it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today. I've learned a little bit more about how we can better ourselves and be happier.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Talking with the Experts, hosted by Rose Davidson. Make sure you have a look at our back catalogue over at talkingwiththeexperts.com, and be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on any episode. We look forward to your company next time. Talking with the Experts.